Well done, guys. We're into the third week of the No BS challenge. So far, so good. My experience so far, it's been definitely a challenging time to take part in this challenge. With the lockdown, in my experience as well, I've got lack of sleep from a newborn, which makes it difficult to be as resilient as maybe would be in different circumstances. But I've managed to do the no booze, no sugar. That's been okay. Obviously, there's been times where I've been tempted to eat my feelings, I suppose you would, and seek that short-term pleasure that you get from sugary treats. But I've managed to resist that. I found the last week's challenge, the screen time challenge, equally difficult. And I think there's a strong relationship between both, actually, because when I took the sugar out of my diet, I definitely noticed myself flagging on the first couple of days, which shows that I was relying too much on sugar in my diet previously to have that kind of come down. I didn't really relate it at the time, but looking back, definitely there was a correlation between me giving up the sugar and having some lull on those first few days. So that was noticeable and a real warning sign for me to make sure that I don't get back in those bad habits when the challenge ends. And actually, like I say, there's a similar situation with the screen time, how addicted I was to the screen and how I would just look and scroll any opportunity and just waste time really doing that. So it's been a bit of an eye-opener for me. The screen time thing as well has saved me loads of wasted time. And, you know, when you start flicking between working and looking at the screen, you waste more time than you think because it interrupts your train of thought. You have to kind of reset yourself. It's been really useful for me to cut that out and I feel a lot more productive. So that's been great. In terms of other aspects of my diet, processed foods I haven't cut out my diet. That's because I have protein shakes and they're a processed food, so I have to count that in there. And bread is my big vice that I absolutely love. And I think because the time I'm so trying, I haven't really worked too hard to cut it out. I mean, I've cut it out most days, but I still have my scrambled eggs on toast when I'm home with Phoenix in the morning. So I've had that on some days as well. So I've definitely been doing the no booze, no sugar. So I get my 4 points there. I've been doing my workouts most days, so I get my extra point there and the bonus challenge. So I've been averaging sort of 5 or 6 points every day. The odd day I've had 7 points. I don't think I've had an 8-point day actually so far. Let's talk about the next part of the challenge, week 3's challenge. This is again related to the lockdown and trying to correct some of the damages being caused by us being sat down the whole time, especially this lockdown because it's dragging like crazy. I'm sure you've all noticed being stuck indoors in cold in the rain. Those of you who've got kids at home from school, obviously they're probably not making life easy for you either. But we're sat down a lot and we're going to do a stretch that alleviates some of the symptoms that being sat down all the time can cause. It's another one that Dr. Kelly Starrett, this kind of OG mobility guy, talks about being really essential. And I think it's really important for your back and knee health. So we're going to do the couch stretch, or I suppose in the UK we call it the sofa stretch, in that you're going to get something, either a wall or a sofa, put your foot up on it like so, get a nice bit of padding under your knee, and then from there, drive your hips forward. And tell you what I'm going to do is, while you're here, I'm going to move my camera. So apologies for this here. You should be able to see a bit better what I'm doing here. So you see this position I'm in just there. Now let me just move the camera a bit further back so you can see what I'm doing and see me at the same time. I know that you probably missed my smiling face. All right, so here we are, like so. Now what we're looking to be in a position is where we can get our body upright and we can squeeze our glutes so that we're actually activating these muscles here to let off the pressure here. Some people do this exercise, and if I go around and switch legs, actually, and what you'll see is they'll do a position where they just kind of drop themselves forward like this, and there's no engagement in the glutes, and you're not getting the stretch you want to get from there, okay? So it's not about getting as far forward as you can. It's actually about getting as much posterior tilt. So that's that feeling of tucking your pelvis under, squeezing your glutes forward, keeping your body upright. That's a really important factor in this stretch. All right, you should feel this mainly down the hip flexor off that trail leg there. Keep good position in this other leg as well, so keep your body upright. keep that tripod of the big toe, little toe, and the heel of the foot on the floor at the same time, and push that front knee out to the side whilst squeezing those glutes hard. So it's really about how much you can squeeze these glutes, not about how far forward you can lean. We're looking to accumulate 3 minutes each side each day. The reason this is so important, the reason this helps so much with your knee and back health is that basically most people spend their time seated. That's going to make your hip flexors shorter, okay, or tighter, okay, in here. It's going to pull you into this position here, tilt your pelvis forward. It's going to make this kind of position where your butt sticks out. You feel this compression in your lower back. So tightness through that lower back, and also the quadriceps attaching to your patella, your knee, and therefore you get that tightness in your knee as well, that knee pain. So it's a really important area that we stretch off. It'll alleviate pressure from the back because it allows us to tuck our pelvis under to get into a neutral position. That allows us to engage our abs as well, because when our pelvis is pushed out here, we can't engage our abs. Therefore, it's just those lower back muscles. So really important we release that off and take pressure off the knee. And in terms of performance, well, if we can't get this into a position where our hips can fully extend because the hip flexors are so tight, we're not allowed to get full hip extension, we cannot activate the glutes properly, and therefore we cannot create the power we need to create. So we're losing a ton of power from that inability to fully extend at the hip. And what people do to compensate is they'll extend at the back through the spine. And that's where a lot of people get injuries. It's also why when you come from a seated desk job and you train, it's really important you loosen these muscles off, because obviously otherwise if they're tight, you're trying to drive with the hips and you can't, you're going to use your back, and that's when you start getting back injuries. So this is crucial for long-term spinal health, knee health, and the ability to use the core muscles. Now the core muscles are glutes and abs as a basic explanation. So there we have it.